All right, so we're looking at P5, a prerequisite skill. This is transformations and square root functions. And there's only like 3 of those on this homework assignment. I put old stuff on there too, because it's only 8 questions. So anyways, I'll do a handful of them. I'm probably going to do 3 of them. I've been doing 4, but you guys should have this down by now. You really, really should. So the first one I'm going to do is number 2. It's -2 square roots of x plus 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite this just briefly as -2 square roots of x plus 0, because you can add 0 to anything and not change it, plus 1. I'm doing that so I can line up with my form, a square roots of x minus h plus k. Get that through your heads. It's a lineup process, okay? That's all it is. All right, so a is a -2. That's my initial slope, all right? The first point on the graph is going to be 0, 1. We don't change the sign on a 0. And that's enough information to graph. Now it didn't say to do this in your homework instruction set. Actually, I'm going to change that. I'm going to put that in. You're going to graph mom and you're going to graph the kid. So let's graph mom first. Mom has 0, 0, 1, 1, and then she's got 4, 2. Repetition, memorization, all important skills. And the kid is pretty much the same, except the kid has that shift of up 1, that plus 1 right there. And then it has a slope of -2. So we're going to go up 1, we're going to fall 2, and we're going to run right 1. And this would be your kid. All right, see, that's not so bad now, is it? It's really not. I didn't leave myself enough room here to write the transformations. So I'll just do it off to the side and you can put it in the right spot here. Transformations. You know, you can look at the graph and you can see that this thing was vertically reflected. So there's a vertical reflection. You can look at the graph and you can see that it was actually shifted up 1. So there's a translation, a translate, up 1. And even though the kid is upside down because it's been reflected, it's taller. So there's a vertical stretch. Now, the square root is the one function, at least for now, that actually doesn't inherit domain. Because the square root mom function doesn't go from negative to positive infinity like everybody else. This one has the same domain as mom does, 0 to infinity. D for domain, 0 to infinity. Or if you're a set builder kid, all values of x such that x is an element of the real. Its range is low y value of negative infinity, high y value of 1. So negative infinity to -1, bracket on -1. Or if you're a set builder kid, all values of y such that y is less than or equal to -1. Pick your poison on that one. I'm not going to do a whole lot of these. I'm not. For one, I don't have a whole lot of time. And 2, we've been doing this for a couple of days now. So like, unless this is the first homework assignment you've picked up, it really ought to be clicking by now. If it ain't click, let it clack, kids. It needs to get to that point. It needs to get there. I'm going to do 3. I'm not going to do 4. The issue with number 3 is how it's presented. Of course, now 3 is a parabola. You've got that exponent of 2 going on. So think about that. It's a parabola. It's not in the right form. We need an a times an x minus an h plus a k. We need a 2 there. And we don't have that. So we have to do some factoring. We have to be careful about it because 2x minus 4 is not what's there. There's a 2x minus 4 squared, which if you're comfortable with the double distributive property of the FOIL technique, you'd understand that's 4x squared minus 16x plus 16. It's not what you think it is, no, is it? So anywho, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little factoring. I know I can pull a 2 from 2x, and I know I can pull a 2 from 4. If I divide 2x by a 2, I have x. If I divide 4 by a 2, I have a 2. And that is starting to look a little bit more like what's going on. Like I have the x minus h part and I have the plus the k. but I still have to distribute that 2 to get A. That becomes 4. 2 squared is 4. And this is my form. Now, this is a quadratic. Quadratics do have a vertex. The vertex is going to be at 2, 3. All right, 2, 3. A turns out was 4. So this thing rises 4 and runs 1. It's a steep parabola. And that's enough for the graphing. And let's go ahead and graph the kid, the mom. Mom contains 0, 0, 1, 1, and negative 1, 1. And there's mama. Now let's graph the kid. The kid has a vertex at 2, 3, right 2, rise 3. And the kid has a very steep initial slope of 4. This thing grows really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 over. Here's what we call a line of symmetry. I kind of wish I would have included this on day 1, but I was afraid it was too much. That's a line of symmetry. It's the same on the left as it is on the right. But we'll talk about that in great detail at a later date. This is just to get you accustomed to the graphs and get the shapes memorized. You don't want to throw too much at a kid all at once. Introduce things later on. And that way maybe they'll remember some of it. That's the idea. Remember some of it. Transformations. Now, this kid is tall, man. That is what we call a vertical stretch. And this kid has been shifted around, right? Like, and I'm just going to be kind of lazy here. We've gone right 2, and we've gone up 3. Domain. It's a parabola. We inherit the domain. It's going to be negative infinity to infinity. Range here looks like 3 to infinity. And I don't feel like spending time on set builder on that one. And there is number 3. I'm going to do one more. So let's see what's on the back side here. I don't want to do all the hard ones because you guys need to figure out some of these things for yourself. And I've just taught a lesson on square roots, so I really don't want to do another square root because I've done enough of those already this morning. What do we got interesting? There's a square. There's an absolute value. 5. 5's a line. Kids won't get it. But and it's literally in y equals mx plus b. So let's take a look at 7. All right, so 7's got the same issue as most of these do on this piece of paper. Your form for absolute value is a absolute values of x minus h plus k. And you can see real clear that we're supposed to have a singular x, and this one has half an x. So we're going to do a little factoring. All right, let's just make that y. F of x is fancy for y. There's a 2. And we're going to pull the half out of the inside, okay? If you pull a half from a half x, most kids get that it's x. But if you take a 2 and divide it by a half, turns out that's 4, because we multiply by the reciprocal. And then we have our minus 1. And there is an equation that's almost ready to go. We just need to figure out what 2 times a half is, and half of 2 is 1. So we have a singular absolute value of x minus 4 minus a 1. All right, where is the vertex? The vertex is going to be at change keep 4, negative 1. A happens to be 1. It's an understood 1. Transformations, maybe you can tell from this by looking at what your equation is up here, but the only transformations that you actually have as compared to mama are right 4 and down 1. So we're going to translate right 4 or shift, whatever word you like. Just make sure you understand what translate means. Translate right 4 and then down 1. And let's graph it. All right, let's graph mama. Gotta know what mama looks like. And then let's graph the kid. So the kid is the same, except the kid went right 4 and down 1. 2, 3, 4, down 1. Put me about right there. And still has an initial slope of 1 because A was 1. And there's the kid. And there you go. That's what homework I'm doing. I did 3 of 8. So I did 3/8 of your homework. You surely you boys and girls will figure out the rest of it. This stuff ain't that bad. Anyways, have a good weekend. See you Monday.